So it was announced that Shannon Sharpe finally reached a buyout in his contract. So basically, once the NBA Finals are over, Shannon Sharpe is going to be thinking about other things, golf, making his own podcast, whatever it is. So we had a video about this. You can check, just go to our most popular video. Yeah, it's that video. And then basically Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe, there'd been some friction for a long time. Skip would have some very disrespectful connotations throughout the show. He would scoff at Shannon Sharpe when he was talking, and then Shannon Sharpe would have to be like, can I keep talking or do you want to talk now? Because if you're just going to keep interrupting and scoffing at me, you might as well just talk and I'll just sit here quietly, I guess. So a lot of disrespectful stuff that Skip Bayless was doing there. And then Shannon Sharpe always gives Skip Bayless credit for putting him on. And I always respect Shannon Sharpe, even though Skip Bayless is highly disrespectful, pull some clown buffoonery on that show. Shannon Sharpe does give him credit. Hey, he put me on. We've had a good run and we have had a good show. And he'll always talk about that. But Skip Bayless was here in the media world. And Shannon Sharpe is probably down here. And then he didn't really have someone to work. And then slowly he moved up here where he's pretty much Skip Bayless's equal, if not better than him. Because if you look at the podcast numbers, Club Shay is way better than the Skip Bayless show, where Skip Bayless just sits at a teleprompter and does this.
Angry
for an hour, and he's like, let me tell you about when I covered Michael freaking Jordan. And it's just that the whole time, where Club Shay is interviewing marquee athletes like Tyreek Hill that Skip Bayless could never interview. So you look at his podcast, he has his own liquor now. Shout out to Laportier. Haven't tried it yet, but sure, it's good if he's drinking it in the morning on a daytime news show at 6:30 a.m. on the West Coast. So yeah, you have all of that, and then Shannon Sharpe potentially passing him, and then people are like, hey, Skip Bayless still has full control of the show. People aren't allowed to mention him who worked there. You can't tweet about Skip Bayless. You can't talk about Skip Bayless around FS1. So people like Nick Wright, who are LeBron, well, yeah, I'd say Nick Wright's probably a bronzexual at this point.
Oh, he's 100%.
Yeah, and then you have all those people who disagree with Skip Bayless, but like no one can say his name. No one can utter his name in the sports world. Only athletes can go after him. So if you work at Fox, Skip Bayless is basically untouchable. He controls the narrative on that show. He picks the topics. And the reason why I bring that up is I just mentioned the success of Shannon Sharpe, and he has no reason to deal with all of the bullshit on that show that Skip put him through. And then we went over the Tom Brady incident. Everyone knows what happened there, but Skip Bayless basically saying you'll never be as good as Tom Brady when they play two different positions, and Shannon Sharpe is maybe the best at his position and Tom Brady's the best at his position. So that was, and then the put your glasses on comment was really what was terrible for me and disrespectful. And then after that, you have the DeMar Hamlin situation where whatever you feel like of Skip's tweet, Shannon definitely felt a certain type of way with it, to the point where he didn't show up the next day, and then Skip Bayless kind of had to talk his way through a show there. And it seems like Skip Bayless is like 70, so he's an old guy. So honestly, it makes sense for Shannon Sharpe to move on. You can only do the same talking points in the same show, because we even talked about on this podcast, it was like, how many times are we going to talk about LeBron James? How many times are we going to just talk about Tom Brady? Why aren't we covering actually good teams during the NBA season? And it's just LeBron, Tom Brady. Tom Brady's the best. Tom Brady's best. It's like, I think he like missed a pass here, Skip. So it's like, how many times are we going to regurgitate where I can literally close my eyes and then quote what they're going to say? I know exactly how they feel about every opinion, and it's just theater at this point. So like, we saw this coming, we broke it down before, but now it's kind of time to take our victory lap. I said contract wise, I didn't know how it was going to work, but whether it's now, a few months from now, probably after the NBA Finals or the Super Bowl, Shannon Sharpe's probably going to go, well, now that we're past the NBA Finals, if you're going to make your rearrangements on a sports show, that's really the time to do it. He's gone. And I think for Shannon, he has the Club Shay like you mentioned. Yeah.
He's also a 2-time Super Bowl champion. Can get any job he wants anywhere.
3. He won with the Ravens and the Broncos.
He won with the Ravens too. That's right.
Save.
But he can do anything he wants. If he wants to go to ESPN, he can go to ESPN. If he wants to go off in the sunset and do his thing there, he can do that. Or if he wants his own show, he can do his own show like he already does. So for Shannon, it's like, why not? Why not do whatever you want to do and not have to be belittled by somebody who, yes, he puts you on, but at the same time, he's somebody who's losing touch with the media a little bit. Somebody who is a little outdated, somebody who seems like he's kind of losing his wits a little bit. Seems to be getting a little bit more outlandish with his takes as he grows older.
Yeah.
I don't know how much time he really has left to be a sportscaster because you get up to 75, 80. I mean, there's a Terry Bradshaw situation where it's like it's probably not good for him to continue doing his show. And then for Skip, I feel like Undisputed's about to have a first take arc, honestly.
Yeah.
As soon as Skip left first take, it was never the same. Even Max Kellerman, God bless his soul, could not replace Skip Bayless, even though he had horrible takes, just like Skip Bayless.
Same thing with the condescending Stephen A. was like not having it with him.
Oh no, not at all. So now it's like if we're looking at this crossroads here, Skip Bayless, he's gonna have. I feel like they're still gonna try to implement something similar to what he had with what First Take has been doing with this like panel bullshit.
Yeah.
Like that's where where it's headed. But yeah, for Shannon Sharpe, credit to him. He's not going to put up with this bullshit. Why should he? He's a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
He's an entrepreneur. He's got other business ventures. Why are you going to put up with some guy who, yeah, he put you on, but at the same time, you shouldn't be disrespected in your workplace
Yeah.
by any means. And he has been.
Yeah, and him leaving everything now, like the next thing is decentralization, whether it's finance, movies, media, like that's the next thing. And then podcasts have been a step in that vein. Joe Rogan blew it up. Now every athlete, every comedian, musicians too, everybody has a podcast now. And then Club Shay Shay has been very successful. The Skip Bayless show has not, and that's really my argument in this point where it's like, why can I go on a podcast, make more money, have to filter myself in what I want to say because I work for Fox? Like Club Shay Shay is going to get better. Your product, your personality is going to be better because you're going to be able to go out there, no filter. You're going to be able to say whatever you want. You're going to be able to talk about the inner workings of that company there. So for Shannon Sharpe, this makes a lot of sense. Doesn't need to deal with Skip Bayless. And for Skip Bayless, I do agree with you. He is getting older, but he's not like a Terry Bradshaw where Skip Bayless hasn't missed a workout in the past 5 years. He's still up at 2:30 in the morning running on the treadmill out there pumping weights, but his temper seems like it's getting worse because he mentioned when the Heat lost game 6, he lost it so badly that him and his wife didn't talk for like 3 days
Jesus.
because as he thought they were going to win, and then when they made it, she's like, "Oh, what do you want for dinner?" He's like, "What do I want for dinner? Did you see what just happened?" And then he just had a blow up, and then he had to apologize to his wife on national television. So for Undisputed, I think the next host should be a woman. I think that would make sense. And then Skip Bayless in the morning. I feel like if you want someone who's going to go back and forth and check him, you had Shannon Sharpe, you had Stephen A. Smith. It's time to put a woman in that chair to go back and forth with Skip Bayless. Seems like they're having a hard time finding. I can't think of any replacements off the top of my head, but if I'm Joy Taylor, screw Emmanuel Acho. You don't want to deal with that dork on Speak for Yourself. He's trying to be a star so badly, and then you have to deal with Rick Bucher. He probably smells like old lady perfume on that show. And so it's like, why would you do Speak for Yourself when you could just go and debate Skip Bayless every day? But I think that show's probably going to get canceled soon. They're going to have to move on from Skip Bayless because Skip without Stephen A, Skip without Shannon Sharpe, I don't see anyone with Skip Bayless's DeMar Hamlin controversy that's going to really step up to the plate and go into that chair. Like, unless it's like, I don't think Chris Broussard would do it because they have a good thing going with First Things First. Maybe if Nick Wright wanted to move back to LA, the best LeBron debates would probably be between Nick Wright and Skip Bayless.
That'd be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, if he wanted to like absolutely abuse someone, put Jason McIntyre on that show. Because that guy's another geek. Like one thing, Skip Bayless, like he's not really he doesn't let people play around with him. Like he's fine screaming at Shannon Sharpe, who could easily snap him in half if he wanted to. But if you had to pick a co-host based on like the Fox casting crew right now or someone outside the box, who do you think is the perfect person to go head to head with Skip Bayless on basketball and football?
I'd love Nick Wright. Nick Wright would be funny
Yeah.
because he's a whiny, annoying LeBron. He's pretty much the anti Skip Bayless in a way.
Yeah.
Skip Bayless just has outlandish takes, but Nick Wright, like he uses a lot of numbers and a lot of facts, where
Yeah.
Skip Bayless uses a lot of emotion. He would be a lot of fun. Joy Taylor would be good, like you mentioned,
Yeah.
women. I don't think she would let him talk down to her by any
No.
means. She would put him in his place pretty
No,
quickly.
he'd get canceled immediately.
Oh, for sure. So I think those are my two favorites, honestly.